Good morning, everybody. Before I begin, I'd like to start with a couple of questions. So put your hands up if the answer to any of these is yes. How many of you can solve quadratics? Of those people, how many people can play an instrument and weld metal and carve ice? Now think about that for a second, not in a philosophical way, but literally, practically, why can't you? We have hands, we have imagination, we all have time, theoretically. So why, when you're 7 years old and you want to be a musician and a painter and a scientist and a chef, why does the world start telling you to pick one? I'm here to tell you something that might sound counterintuitive on a stage like this, in a culture obsessed with efficiency and optimization. That being productive and locking in goes against exactly what it means to be human. So you see, we live in an age of specialization. It's presented as inevitable, even virtuous. You hear it constantly, from GCSEs to A-levels, to university degrees, to PhDs, to masters. Always specializing. And it does make sense. Specialization is efficient, it's profitable, it's measurable. If you're a specialist, you can easily be characterized, ranked, maximized. The more focused you are, the more valuable you become, at least in the eyes of the economy. But here's what I want to challenge, that equation between focus and worth, that assumption that life is only valuable if it produces something quantifiable. To begin with, I'd like to bring your attention to an issue I strongly believe results in many people's feelings of worthlessness or shame. You see, we've done something abhorrent to the human experience. We've taken activities that are intrinsically human, art, music, sports, enjoyment at all, and we've allowed them to only matter, to only exist if they're profitable or even just good. Think about art. I find it terrible that our society only values art when it's profitable or even just good. It's only worth your time to do it. It's the post, to sell, to hustle. Art for others, never yourself. And people beat themselves up way too much about enjoying themselves when they forget we are literally biologically programmed to do things that make us feel good. Literally everything else is made up. These aren't distractions from productivity. These aren't obstacles to overcome. This is what it means to be alive. Here's what I want you to think about. Why do you have to be productive? Not how can I be more productive, or what's the best way to optimize my productivity, but the fundamental question, why is productivity the measure? We've internalized this so completely that we don't even question it anymore. You wake up and you think about what you need to accomplish. You measure your day by what you've done, what you've produced, what you've achieved. If we haven't produced something, we feel like we've wasted time. But a lot of people forget you're a human being, not a human doing. Think about what that means, as your value as a person doesn't come from your output, it doesn't come from your productivity metrics or your professional accomplishments, or the number of things you've checked off the list. You have inherent worth just by existing, just by being here. Everything else is extra. Sure, we need to work to stay alive, make life a little bit easier for others as well. Every other experience, from exhilaration to grief to excitement to, as corny as it sounds, love, is a blessing to our existence. And yet we live in a world that constantly tells you the opposite, that you're only worth what you produce, that you're only valuable if you're useful, that you're only justified in taking up space if you're doing something. And now, to lead off with that, I'd like to talk about time, because time is the real resource here. Not money, not attention, but time. There's this implicit bargain we're supposed to make, that you specialize in now, you focus, you grind, you delay gratification. And then later, when you retire, when you've made it, when you've achieved enough, then you can explore. Then you can try things. Then you can be a polymath. I'll do it when I'm retired, people say. I'll travel when I'm retired. I'll pursue my interests when I'm retired. I'll actually live when I'm retired. But if you die tomorrow, and I don't mean to be morbid, I mean it as a wake-up call. None of us are guaranteed the time that we're planning for. None of us know how much time we actually have, and we're spending the time we do have, the only time we know we have, in service of a future that might never come. Now think about it this way. You can either get to your destination in 10 years of efficient, grey boredom, or 15 years, slightly longer, but of colour, fun, love. You can optimize your path to success and arrive at your destination exhausted and hollow, having missed everything along the sidelines. Or you can take the longer route, the one with detours, the one where you learn things that don't go on a resume, where you fail at things that don't matter, where you spend time with people and ideas and activities that don't have productivity value. Which version of your life would you have rather lived? Now, here's something I personally love about the school, about institutions that celebrate interdisciplinary thinking, different perspectives that matter. Now, when I first came here for my last school, I was so surprised that nearly half of my year took art as GCSE. My last school had been incredibly academic, and I never even considered taking the arts or even going down that route. Because of my friends, people who were not from this school, I would have never had interacted with, I genuinely feel a more complete living person. When you're a painter and a scientist, you see things that pure scientists miss. A musician with a passion for mathematics who writes songs a pure artist completely glosses over, and contrary to what it seems, the supposed time wasters, actions in our lives actually make us more creative. Like, for example, the Nobel Prize winning scientists are about 25 times more likely to sing, dance, or act than the average scientist. To delve deeper, the most interesting ideas, these Nobel ideas, don't come from going deeper and deeper into one well. They come from the intersections, from bringing knowledge from one field into another. And as cliche as this next topic is, I believe that's one of the reasons why AI art feels so soulless, since every artist is a mosaic of human experience, unique to them only. And for better or worse, a human subliminal bias is what makes human art irreplaceable. To illustrate this point, I've got a collection of images on the next few slides of what I mean. As you can all obviously tell, this is an AI-generated image of a bear, and to be honest, it is, and to be honest, it is pretty good. Now let me show you two images drawn by two very different people. The picture on the right here was drawn in 1886 by a game hunter, describing a 300-pound brown bear that nearly killed him. On the left is something my 11-year-old brother drew yesterday. And what makes them different, but also the same, is their humanity, their biased view of what a bear is to them. The same symbol viewed through different shaded lenses. Their different experiences created vastly different, but uniquely human art. And one of the benefits of AI, its supposed lack of bias, may actually be its downfall compared to the vast human experience. So to conclude, what I'm saying is this: you don't have to be so focused. You don't have to be so locked in. You don't have to optimize every hour of your life for productivity. You can paint badly. You can write for an audience of 0. You can learn an instrument you'll never matter. Take a class in something that has nothing to do with your career. You can spend a Saturday or week doing absolutely nothing. And none of that is wasted time. None of that is a phase that doesn't matter. All of it is your life. That is what it means to be human. So I'll end with the question that I started with, but reframed. Why can't you do everything? I mean, the real answer is you can't do everything, and none of us can. We have limited time. We have to make choices. We have to say no to some things so we can say yes to others. But the question isn't how do I specialize? The question is what constellation of stars make up my universe? And then the radical act is this. Do those things, not because they make you money, but because they'll impress people. Do them because you're alive, because curiosity is a human gift, because the alternative, a narrow, optimized, efficient life, is death in slow motion. And I'm not just a young person, and I know nothing about the perils of the real world, but break down those barriers. Look out. Be unproductive. Be colorful. Be different. Be human. Thank you.